Hello there, friends. It's a pleasure to have you join me today as we chat about something that's near and dear to our hearts. Living well, staying sharp, and enjoying every moment. Now, I'm no spring chicken myself, but over the years, I've learned a thing or two about healthy living. Just the other day, my neighbor Joe asked, "Why do the Japanese outlive us by decades? Are they just lucky?" I told him, "Joe, it isn't luck. It's a way of life." Today, I'm here to share some of those secrets with you, secrets that might help us all lead a longer, healthier, and happier life. And don't worry, I'm not asking you to give up your meatloaf. Before we start, welcome to Old Age Support. This is a place for us seniors to chat about life, health, and staying happy as we age. No fancy talk, just real, honest conversations. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and subscribe so we can navigate this journey together. Let's start by breaking down what sets our friends in Japan apart from us in the West. There are a few key habits they embrace. Diet. The Japanese keep it simple. Fresh, whole foods with an emphasis on vegetables, fermented dishes, and modest portions. They practice a kind of mindful eating that's about savoring each bite. Here in the West, many of us often fall into the trap of processed foods, oversized portions, and eating in a hurry. Movement. You won't find most Japanese elders hitting the gym hard. Instead, they incorporate movement naturally into their day, walking to the market, gardening, or simply doing household chores. Meanwhile, many of us tend to spend long hours sitting, relying on our cars to get around. Social connections. In Japan, elders are celebrated and remain actively involved in their communities. They have regular gatherings, share meals with friends, and are respected for their wisdom. Many of us in the West, however, often struggle with isolation and feel like we're on the sidelines in our own neighborhoods. Mindset. The Japanese embrace a philosophy known as ikigai, which is about finding a reason to get up every morning. It's a way to keep life meaningful, even in the simplest moments. In contrast, our days can sometimes feel weighed down by stress, financial worries, health issues, and the feeling of being overlooked. The truth is, many of these secrets aren't about grand gestures. They're small, thoughtful habits that, over time, can transform our lives. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Japanese food? I can't afford fancy fish or exotic ingredients. But the magic isn't in expensive ingredients, it's in the way you approach your meals. A. Mindful eating and portion control. One habit that really makes a difference is eating until you're about 80% full. I used to polish off my meals like a vacuum, hardly stopping to enjoy the flavors. But when you put your fork down between bites and really savor your food, you not only aid digestion, you give yourself time to connect with your meal. Think of it as a gentle pause, a moment to appreciate the nourishment you're receiving. B. Simple, affordable swaps. Consider small changes. Instead of reaching for a soda, brew yourself a cup of green tea. Not only does it warm you up, but it's also rich in antioxidants. And when you're craving something hearty, try incorporating fermented foods into your diet. Yogurt or even a bit of homemade sauerkraut can do wonders for your digestion. These aren't high-end trends. They're simple choices that support a healthier heart and gut. See a little story from down the street. Take my good friend Frank, for example. After a little scare with his heart, he decided to add a bowl of miso soup to his breakfast routine. At first, it was just a change of pace, but soon it became a comforting ritual that connected him with his own heritage and a community of friends who shared similar habits. Frank wasn't chasing a miracle cure. He was making a small, mindful tweak that made a big difference. Now I have a question for you. How many of you grew up on TV dinners or rushed meals? Drop your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear how your eating habits have changed over the years. Now let's talk about movement. We might not be gearing up for marathons, but staying active doesn't mean you have to break a sweat at the gym every day. A. The joy of a simple walk. Many Japanese elders incorporate walking into their daily routine. A leisurely stroll, be it to the local market or just around the block, keeps the body limber and the mind clear. Consider taking a few extra steps each day. Sometimes, Even a short walk in the fresh air can do wonders for your mood and overall health. B. Chair yoga and gentle stretching. On days when the weather isn't kind or our joints feel stiff, chair yoga can be a lifesaver. It's a low-impact way to stretch and keep flexible without overexerting yourself. I recall Mrs. Henderson from our community center, who organized a weekly chair yoga group. Every Tuesday, a small group of us would gather, share a few laughs, and gently move our bodies. It wasn't about perfecting a pose. It was about celebrating our ability to move together. See real-life anecdote. And speaking of friends, remember my buddy Frank? After his heart scare, he wasn't sure about jumping into intense exercise. Instead, he began taking daily walks with his pal Harold. They'd chat about old times, the weather, and even exchange a few jokes. Those walks not only boosted Frank's circulation, but also rekindled a sense of companionship. It's incredible how a bit of movement and a friendly conversation can brighten your entire day. So, when was the last time you enjoyed a walk with a friend, or simply took a stroll on your own? Share your favorite walking moments in the comments. One of the most remarkable aspects of Japanese culture is the emphasis on community and social connection. In their world, elders are the glue that holds everything together. But I know that in our modern lives, feeling isolated is sometimes an unwelcome companion. A. The importance of social bonds. It's not just about staying physically active. The mind and heart need nourishment too. In Japan, elders often gather for meals, share stories, and support one another. In our own neighborhoods, it might take a little extra effort to recreate that sense of belonging. B. Creating your own community. Start small. Maybe it's as simple as greeting your neighbor with a warm hello or joining a local library book club. Volunteering at a community center or even engaging in a shared hobby can make a huge difference. Remember, a genuine conversation with the mail carrier or a quick chat with your local barista can remind you that you're part of a larger, caring community. See, a story of connection. I once met Mr. Williams at our community garden. He shared how tending to the garden wasn't just about growing vegetables. It was about cultivating relationships. They'd laugh together over small mishaps and celebrate each little victory. That simple act of gardening created bonds that extended far beyond the plot. It reminds us that even in a busy world, there's always time for a connection that nourishes the soul. Now tell me genuinely, when was the last time you had a real heart-to-heart chat with a neighbor? I'd love to hear about your community moments in the comments. Perhaps the most subtle, yet powerful secret is in the way the Japanese view life. They live with purpose, guided by the concept of ikigai, a reason for being that makes each day meaningful. A. Celebrating the little joys. For many of us, life can sometimes feel like a series of challenges, financial worries, health setbacks, and that creeping sense of being left behind. But even on the toughest days, there are small moments of joy. The taste of your morning tea, a smile from a friend, or the satisfaction of solving a crossword puzzle. These tiny moments add up, reminding us that life is still rich with meaning. B. Setting Ikigai-light goals. You don't need a grand plan to embrace Ikigai. Try setting small daily goals that give your day a touch of purpose. It might be watering your favorite plant, reading a chapter of a book, or simply calling an old friend. These Ikigai-light moments serve as daily reminders that our lives are full of potential, no matter our age. See, a personal anecdote. I have a dear friend, Eleanor, who took up painting in her 70s. At first, it was just a hobby, but soon it transformed her life. Every brushstroke brought her joy and a renewed sense of purpose. Eleanor's art became her voice, a way of saying that it's never too late to find something that makes your heart sing. So you might be wondering, can these small habits really add up? The answer, my friends, is a resounding yes. It isn't about making dramatic overnight changes. It's about those tiny, consistent choices that build up over time. A typical day reimagined picture. Your day starting with a warm cup of green tea instead of a sugary soda. Imagine taking a leisurely walk, greeting neighbors with a smile, and sitting down for a meal that you truly enjoy. Perhaps in the afternoon you join a gentle chair yoga session or simply take a few moments to stretch and breathe deeply. Then, in the evening, you pick up a good book or engage in a conversation with a friend. These aren't revolutionary changes. They're little steps that build a healthier, more joyful life. B. The ripple effect of our choices. Every small choice creates a ripple. When you choose to take a walk rather than watching one more hour of television, you're not only giving your body a bit of exercise, you're also boosting your mood and energy. When you swap a frozen meal for a home-cooked soup, you're nourishing your body and setting an example for those around you. And when you take a moment to connect with someone, you're strengthening the very fabric of our community. It all adds up. Before we move on, I just want to remind you, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're all on this journey together, and every one of you is a vital part of our community. Stay with me, because I have one more trick up my sleeve for staying sharp. Now let me share with you my number one trick for keeping the mind active and agile. Every day, I set aside a little time for what I call my brain spark. This isn't about solving complex puzzles for hours on end, unless that's your cup of tea, but rather about engaging in a small challenge that makes me think. For me, it might be a crossword puzzle in the morning, a few pages of a good mystery novel in the afternoon, or learning a new word from the dictionary. This daily dose of mental exercise keeps me engaged and gives me something to look forward to. Just like our bodies need movement, our minds need a bit of stimulation to stay sharp and lively. I encourage you to try it out. Whether it's a small brain teaser or a new hobby that piques your interest, find that little spark that makes you feel excited about life. And if you find a trick that works wonders for you, share it in the comments. We all have something to learn from each other. You might wonder if these lifestyle tweaks really have an impact. Well, research on blue zones, those regions around the world where people live significantly longer, has consistently highlighted the benefits of a balanced diet, regular movement, strong social ties, and a purposeful mindset. Okinawa, Japan, stands out as one of these blue zones where elders enjoy not just longer lives, but healthier and happier ones. Studies show that moderate physical activity like walking or gardening can reduce the risk of chronic illnesses. Similarly, a diet low in processed foods and rich in fresh, whole ingredients has been linked to better cardiovascular health. These scientific insights simply back up what our daily experiences have long taught us. Small, consistent habits really do add up over time. Of course, we know that life in the West comes with its own set of challenges. Many of us may live in areas with limited access to fresh markets, rely on cars for even short trips, or sometimes feel that our communities have grown a bit too fragmented. It can seem as if the world has moved on without us. But here's the encouraging part. Even within these challenges, there's room for small, positive changes. You might not be able to overhaul your environment overnight, but you can start with little adjustments right at home. Replace one soda a week with a cup of green tea, or invite a neighbor over for a chat instead of a quick phone call. Every small action counts, and together they can help us build a life that's not just longer, but richer and more connected. As we come to the end of our chat today, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. We've explored why our friends in Japan seem to enjoy extra years of life, and we've seen that the secrets lie in simple habits: eating mindfully, staying active, forging strong social bonds, and nurturing a sense of purpose every day. I understand that being a senior in today's fast-paced world can sometimes feel isolating or discouraging. But remember, our generation is rich with wisdom and resilience. Each small step we take, whether it's a walk in the park, a shared meal, or even a few minutes of a crossword puzzle, adds up to a healthier, happier life. So here's my parting thought. Maybe tomorrow you could swap that afternoon frozen meal for a homemade soup. Perhaps take that extra walk, greet a neighbor with a friendly smile, or set aside a few minutes to challenge your mind. These aren't dramatic overhauls. They're simple changes that, over time, create a ripple of positive effects. Now it's over to you, friends. Which Japanese habit will you try this week? Mindful eating, a daily walk, or perhaps setting aside your own brain spark time? Let's chat in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your stories. And if you found some value in today's chat, Please pass it along to a friend. We seniors have always looked out for one another, and sometimes a little shared wisdom is all it takes to brighten someone's day. Remember, our lives are measured not just by the years we live, but by the moments that take our breath away. Whether it's a quiet cup of tea in the morning, a hearty laugh with an old friend, or simply a moment of reflection over a crossword puzzle, these moments are what make life truly rewarding. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you leave with a fresh perspective and a spark of inspiration to make one small change in your day. Let's continue to live, laugh, and connect, because our best years are still ahead of us and every small step counts. So until next time, take care of your body, nurture your mind, and keep those connections alive. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and join our community where we share not only advice, but genuine care for one another. Together, we can make every day a little healthier, a little happier, and a whole lot more fulfilling.